Welcome to Virtual Dine, Learn, and Move, brought to you in partnership with Prince George's County Health Department, Suburban Hospital, University of Maryland Capital Region Health, and the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County. Dine, Learn, and Move is designed to promote healthy lifestyle habits. Over the next 90 minutes, you will have fun, get up, and move. Learn everything about healthy eating and engage with our chef while watching a cooking demonstration. Let's get ready to dine, learn, and move.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the February session of the Dine, Learn, and Move virtual experience. My name is Savannah Nielsen, and I'm with the Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County. On behalf of the Dine, Learn, and Move collaborative partnership, I'm here tonight supported by a team from the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County, Suburban Hospital, University of Maryland Capital Region Health, and the Prince George's County Health Department. We are so glad that you could join us this evening to learn about this month's topic, heart health in the month of love. And whether this is your first time with us or you're a returning participant, we hope you have a wonderful experience tonight. We are using Zoom webinar for tonight's session. This means all participants will remain on mute throughout the evening. You will be able to submit questions throughout the session by typing in the chat box, which you can find at the bottom of your screen. It is preferred that you use the chat box over raising your hand to indicate that you have a question or comment. Let's test your skills out now by typing your zip code in the chat box. And this will also help us learn more about where you're joining us from tonight. Awesome, I see them coming in already. Y'all have had a lot of practice. 204. I can't even read them. They're coming in so fast. Great, thank you all. Yeah, keep them coming. Looks like we have participants joining us from all across the county, so welcome. We're so glad to have you all tonight. And then we have Kate with us tonight as our chat box monitor. She will be popping in and out to direct your chat box questions to our presenters. Please make sure you type your questions in the chat box as we are unable to unmute you tonight. So now we're going to go ahead and try out another Zoom feature by taking a poll. So tonight we'd like to know how many of you are joining us for the first time and how many are returning this month. Please select one choice and submit your answer. And please try to take the poll on the screen unless you are on a mobile device, then you may respond in the chat box, or if the poll isn't working for you for some reason. And looks like y'all are able to use that. Great, we have returning participants and we have a lot of new participants, so that's great to see. Give it another minute or so here. Looks like a few more people haven't answered. All right. Thank you all. Let's see, we have 33% said yes, that's their first time attending, and 67% said no. Awesome. In the event that you would like to enable subtitles, please click the CC icon at the bottom of your screen at any time, and captions will appear for you. And we have a full lineup of events for you tonight as we cover ways to prevent and manage heart disease. First, Sharon is here this month to share some fitness tips on exercise for heart health. Then she will lead us in a live chair yoga session. This segment of tonight's program is brought to you by the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County. And then after that, we will have a health education segment featuring our guest speaker for tonight, Layla Thomas, a registered nurse from Suburban Hospital. And tonight, Layla will share heart-healthy lifestyle tips. Then we will wrap up our session tonight with a live cooking demonstration from Chef Roslyn Law as she creates heart-healthy recipes that we encourage you to try at home. This segment is brought to you by health system partners, the University of Maryland Capital Region Health, and Suburban Hospital. So now we will turn our attention over to Sharon as she shares some tips on exercise for heart health before leading us in a chair yoga session. But one quick reminder, we are using Zoom webinar this month, which means we will not see you while you move with us. Please continue to follow the safe reminders we have for you. Get your water, clear your space so there's nothing to trip on, and move at your own pace. Don't be afraid to take a break or make a posture modification when you need it. And most importantly, have fun. Take it away, Sharon.
Thank you. Good evening. Let me get my camera going here just to say hello to everybody. And we will have a little bit of a chat here about aerobic activity, some strength training, and building a routine that fits you for yourself. So we'll get started with the aerobic activity, which isn't as daunting as it seems. So we should have something come up on the screen with some information about aerobic activity. But let me give you a little bit of a just a brief little bit on aerobic activity. So aerobic exercises, also known as cardio or endurance exercises, that is what gets your heart rate going. It makes you breathe a little faster, a little deeper, but good for your body. These activities improve cardiovascular fitness and health and enhance lung capacity, as well as boost oxygen circulation throughout the entire body. Some examples of aerobic activities, which aren't as daunting as they sound, would be a brisk walk, something like running if you're used to running as opposed to walking, cycling when the weather is right, or even with some of the new facilities, swimming throughout the year, dancing, which always is fun. The newest one that we've added is pickleball, because that seems to be the new sensation for all. And even some of your outdoor kind of household chores, like raking the leaves, maybe some yard work as we get here into spring. So all of those things can begin to get your heart rate going and are good to improve your cardiovascular strength. Most healthy adults, it says, are through at least about 75 to 150 minutes of moderate activity. And half of that can be vigorous, half of it can be moderate, and starting somewhere. So that would be per week. And you can kind of spread that out, like, you know, maybe every other day or something like that. It doesn't have to be every day. The next one is strength training. And that focuses really on building muscle strength and bone density. So I'm sure you've all heard of the bone density tests and things like that. So the strength training is really beneficial for that. It helps you also maintain a healthier weight, improve daily functionality, and just overall vitality. It really works with all muscle groups. So whether it be your arms, your legs, your torso, whatever it might be, it's good for all muscle groups. Again, this is something that you might want to consider once or twice a week. And you don't even need to have anything fancy, no fancy equipment. You could literally, we're going to do a little chair yoga tonight, so I'll show you that. But you could also use some body weight exercises, which would include things like plank pose or some push-ups, squats, that kind of thing, where you don't even really need any kind of, things that would cost money to work out. One thing you could invest in would be some resistance bands. They're pretty inexpensive. And just using those to kind of pull and stretch to give yourself a little resistance as you're doing some of your strength training. Another thing would be climbing stairs, or it could be like a Stairmaster type of a thing. So just doing that as well. And I'm sure many people have the free weights, whether it be the 2 or the 5 pound, just little weights that you can use to really bring that strength training home. And then also, as we were saying earlier, just building a routine out of it. The general guidelines call for a combination of both the aerobic activity and the resistance training. And as we said, trying to get in maybe about 30 minutes exercise, whether it be walking, swimming, pickleball, 3 to 5 days a week. Moderate strength training to just improve muscle tone. And that could be once or twice a week, frequently enough that you cover like all of the muscle groups. So not just focusing on the arms, but doing something, for the legs and just kind of getting the whole body workout in there. Find the workout that you enjoy and just kind of fit it into your regime, your regimen on a weekly basis. Make it part of your set schedules. And don't forget, and we'll do this at the end of yoga too, a little rest and recovery. I always say, remember to start small. If you have nothing going on, just start small and build from there. So maybe it's a walk around the block, you build from there. Maybe it's just a few, arm exercises and you build from there, whatever works for you. So if you're ready, we're going to do a chair yoga. I'm going to move my chair back. So if you're on your couch or you're seated in an easy chair, you might want to kind of just, push up to the edge of the chair. Certainly, if you have a dining room chair close by, grab that. I would say an office chair, that would work, but just something probably without wheels on it so you don't slide around and move around. So let me take my chair back. I'm going to actually sit mine on my yoga mat. So take a moment, find a chair to comfortably sit in. And we will get started from here. So I'll give everybody just a moment to find a good seat. And then once you do, just make sure whether you have to push up a little bit, you can at least get your feet directly on the floor. So flat-footed on the floor. You don't need that right at the start, but just so that you'll be able to move up just a little bit. All right. So if everyone is ready, we're going to go ahead and get started. Just bring your hands to comfortably rest on your lap. And we'll just close our eyes for one moment. And just take in a few breaths in through your nose and out through your nose. So breathing in and breathing out. Breathing it in and out. We'll do it one more time. Inhaling and exhaling. All right, open your eyes and let's get started. The first exercise, and these are yoga poses as well, is called cat-cow. So because of the shape of the pose, the part of it is kind of cow related and the other is cat. So what we're going to do with your hands still resting comfortably on your lap, you're going to inhale and look up, curve your low back, stretch through your neck, chin up towards your ceiling. And on your exhale, you're going to bring your chin towards your chest, round through your back, and bring your shoulders towards your ears. We're going to do this again. Inhale, looking up, and exhale, rounding through the back, tucking the chin. One more. So this part, the inhale with the low back curved, the cow pose, and the exhale as you round and tuck your chin is the cat pose. All right, and then we'll come back up to a neutral spine. We'll get a couple of twists in here. So what we'll do, we'll inhale, stretch the arms up. And as you exhale, you're going to turn to one side, bring your hand to your knee and your other hand to the back of the chair. And just take a little twist here. We'll breathe in for length in our spine and breathe out just to turn your chin towards your back shoulder. And then we'll come back through center, breathing in, arms lift, looking up, and exhale, turning to the other side, hand to knee and hand to the chair. Take a breath in for length in your spine and a breath out to turn your chin towards that back shoulder. We'll come back through center. We're going to do it 2 more times. Inhaling up and exhale, taking a breath or 2 here as you take your twist. Just finding width through your shoulders and your collarbones. And then inhale through center, arms lift, and exhale as you turn to the other side. Just finding a little bit more space to look back towards the back of the room. One more time. Inhale to lift arms. Exhale, twist, and breathe here for a breath or 2. And then once again, inhale to center, looking up and taking it to the other side, taking that little bit of a twist. And then bring yourself back to center. What we'll do now, so scoot yourself up just a little bit on your chair if your feet aren't completely touching. Walk your feet out a little bit so that your legs are straight. And we're going to do a forward fold. So in a class that's not in a chair yoga, in an average yoga class, we would be standing. So we'll do this one sitting. But let your feet touch down. Let your legs begin to straighten here. Once again, breathe in to stretch those arms up. This time as you exhale, fold forward, fold forward, fold forward. Touch your fingertips down to your shins, to your ankles. Legs are straight. Let your chin tuck. And then slide your hands back up your legs. All right, and we'll do this 2 more times. Breathing in, looking up, stretch those arms, soften the shoulders. Breathing out, sweep those arms down the front of the shins towards the ankles, and tuck your chin. Slide your hands back up as you come back up. 1 more time. Inhaling to look up, and exhale as you fold forward. We'll take an extra second here, just feeling your feet press into the floor, the strength of your legs, and letting your back body just kind of get a nice stretch here. And then we'll come on back up to our seated pose. You can scoot back maybe just a little here. Let me move my paper out of the way. And we're going to do a chair pose. Imagine that we're in a chair. We're going to do chair pose. This is also a yoga pose. And you can either be, kind of on tiptoes or feet flat, knees are bent here. So we're just going to inhale, stretch those arms straight out, soften those shoulders, and just feeling that stretch through your arms. Knees are bent. And then we're going to exhale, look down, sweep those arms back towards the back. Inhale, bring those arms forward. Gaze is forward, stretch through those arms. And on the exhale, tuck the chin and sweep those arms back. 1 more time. Breathing in. Hold it for 1 second here. And breathing out to sweep it back. And then bring yourself once again back to seated. We'll get a little bit of a side stretch in. Then we're going to maybe do 2 balance poses. We're going to stand and use our chair. All right. So again, you can walk your feet a little bit forward so that your heels touch down. If you have a chair with an arm, you'll bring your forearm to the chair. If not, just kind of hold on to the side here. And you're going to take this other arm, sweep it up and over, and just really get a nice stretch through the side body. Let your shoulders soften, but really stretch through that arm. Maybe look up towards your hand and breathe. And come on back to center. All right, let's do side 2. Sweep the other arm up and over. You might feel this down into the side of the hip. It's a really good stretch, and it helps with sciatica as well. And inhale, back to center. We're going to do it 2 more times. Back over to the first side, breathing. And back through center, touch it down. Inhale and sweep the other arm to the other side. And back to center 1 more time each side. Stretch, breathe, and inhale. Last time, over to the other side. Really stretch through that arm and down through your side. And back to center. All right. So we have 2 poses standing. So come on up to the side of your chair, your couch, whatever might work. And if that's not convenient, you could certainly come to the wall. So using the wall. So standing to the side of your chair. All right. I'm going to start here on my right side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of just hold on to the arm rail, or you could hold on to the back, whatever is good. We're going into a tree pose. All right. So the leg that's closest to the chair will stay straight. And then you're going to turn the other knee out and lift your foot to come to the side of your instep here to your calf. And maybe you stay right here. Maybe you raise one arm. Maybe you let go of the other. and touch down. Let go and touch down. Or maybe you stretch that other arm up and then touch it down. All right, so we got to go to other side. We'll do side 2. And once again, the leg that's closest to the chair stays straight. Hand is to the back of the chair or the side, or maybe even to the cushion. And then we'll turn that other knee out, lift the foot, coming into a version of balance here. And another good thing that's good for your balance in these kind of poses is to find something at eye level that's not moving. So maybe there's a picture somewhere in front of you or a spot on the wall, and just focus on that. We're going to lift that other arm and then maybe lift the hand and lower. Lift the hand, lower, or maybe stretch that arm all the way up for a breath or two here. And come on down to standing once again. All right, we have one more standing pose. We're going to start on this side, then we'll go to the other side. This is a version of triangle pose. So what you'll do, make sure you have enough space and that your floor is not too slippery. If you have socks on, you might want to take them off. If you're on your carpet, that's good. So widen your stance a little bit, and the toes that are towards the chair, turn them to face towards the center of the chair. Your other toes face forward. All right, so we're going to do a version of a triangle pose. So bring your fingertips down to the cushion and then sweep that other arm up, looking up towards your hand, a version of chair pose. If your shoulder is okay and you can do a couple of shoulder circles here, we're going to slowly sweep that arm around and up, around and up, and once more sweep that arm around and look up, finding a full breath in, and on that breath out, coming back to stand. All right, we have one more side. Let's get the other side in. Turn those toes sideways to face kind of towards the chair. The other toes face forward. Bring your fingertips down to the cushion and sweep that other arm up, looking up towards your hand, softening your shoulders. And if it's good for this shoulder, very slowly sweeping the arm around and look up, around, look up, and one more time, slowly sweeping it around, and then stopping here in the full pose. One more full inhale, and on your exhale, come on back to stand. All right, we have just enough time. Join me back at your seat. Get comfortable. We're going to do just a 30-second to a 1-minute version of a meditation, but I'm going to walk you through it so that you feel at ease doing this. So just rest your hands comfortably once again. Close your eyes. Just notice any tension in the body, letting it go, whether it be in your shoulders, in your neck, in your jaw. And come back to that breath, just breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling it in, exhaling out, and then let that go. And just take a moment to thank yourself for being here this evening, to letting yourself be, to learning something new, starting out small, letting your body talk to you, but knowing that you can always take a moment for yourself and just be. And open your eyes. Thank you all so much for a little yoga, and I hope that helps for your evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you for leading us through that wonderful chair yoga session, and that meditation was a great touch, so thank you. Now, as we transition back, take your time, walk around and catch your breath, and grab some water as I introduce our guest speaker, Layla Thomas. So, for approximately 5 years, Ms. Thomas has worked with medically underserved populations as a critical care nurse and saw firsthand many of the downstream effects of low health literacy, inadequate access to healthcare services, and other socially determined factors which strongly influence health outcomes. At the start of the pandemic in 2020, Ms. Thomas transitioned from bedside to research as a stroke research RN with NINDS, National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke. Ms. Thomas is a member of the NIH Social Determinants of Health Research Coordinating Committee and the Diversity and Inclusion Committee at Suburban Hospital. In 2021, Ms. Thomas received her stroke certified RN. Also in 2021, Ms. Thomas started her master's in public health at the University of Maryland School of Public Health and expects to graduate this spring. So now moving on into our next segment of the program. Take it away, Layla.
Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for that introduction. Really happy to be here, so thank you. Well, let's get started. We can move to the next slide, please. Okay, so I intentionally selected this heart image above because even though my background is in cerebrovascular disease, it is all interconnected, which is highlighted by the saying, heart health equals brain health. What's good for the heart is good for the brain. Next slide. So we can't raise hands, but if you want to just put in the chat box if you feel comfortable. If you or a friend or family member has been diagnosed with heart disease. So feel free to take a minute and put in the chat box if either you, a friend, or a family member has been diagnosed with heart disease. Okay, as those are coming in, we can go to the next slide. So yeah, it really, it's prevalent. You can see how many people are responding. It affects all of us. So what do you think of when you hear the words heart disease? And so I have, just some words here, a little word bubble, but also feel free to put in the chat box, what do you think of when you hear the words heart disease? You think heart attack, blood flow, atherosclerosis, blockage? Just kind of think about that for a second. And did you know that more than half of US adults don't know that heart disease is a leading cause of death? All right, next slide. Yep, heart problems. Okay, so the outline for today. First, we're going to be discussing some statistics, cardiovascular disease statistics, common myths, discuss heart health or life's essential 8. We're going to go through the heart health calculator, and then at the end of today's presentations, I'll take any questions. So here is a map, and you can see the distribution and burden of cardiovascular disease mortality in the US between 2018 and 2020. You can see how prevalent it is and in what regions it's really affected. Next slide. Yeah. And then again here, you can see the distribution and burden of cardiovascular disease mortality in Maryland. So you can see the counties here. You can see Montgomery County, Frederick County, PG County. Okay, next slide. Top 5 myths about cardiovascular disease. I'm too young to worry about heart disease. So as early as childhood and adolescence, plaque can start building up in the arteries, and later this can lead to clogged arteries. Even young and middle-aged people can develop heart problems, especially now that obesity, type 2 diabetes, and other risk factors are being more common at a younger age. The next one is, diabetes won't harm my heart as long as I take my medication. Treating diabetes can help reduce your risk or delay cardiovascular diseases. But even when blood sugar levels are under control, you're still at increased risk for heart disease and stroke. That's because the risk factors that contribute to diabetes onset also make you more likely to develop cardiovascular disease. These overlapping risk factors include high blood pressure, being overweight, physical inactivity, and smoking. The next one is heart disease runs in my family, so there's nothing I can do to prevent it. Although people with family history of heart disease are at higher risk, you can still take steps to dramatically reduce your risk, such as managing your blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. Next one is, I know when I'm having a heart attack because I'll have chest pain. No, not necessarily. Although it's common to have chest pain or discomfort, heart attack symptoms may be subtle. So these include shortness of breath, nausea, feeling lightheaded, pain or discomfort in one or both arms, jaw, neck, or back. Even if you're not sure if it's a heart attack, call 911. And the last one is, I'd know if I had high blood pressure because there would be warning signs. High blood pressure is called the silent killer. I'm sure you guys have heard of that term before, because you don't know when you have high blood pressure. You may never experience symptoms, so don't wait for your body to alert you that there's a problem. Okay, next slide. So here are some very eye-opening statistics. In the US, cardiovascular disease is a leading cause of death. As a result, one person dies every 33 seconds. It costs nearly $240 billion from healthcare expenditures, medicine, lost productivity, so from being disabled, from lost wages. Coronary artery disease is the most common type of heart disease, and 1 in 20 adults have it. Lastly, one person in the US has a heart attack every 40 seconds. And then, real quick, cardiovascular disease is a group of diseases. I know a lot of you typed in the chat box. It involves heart or blood vessels. It includes high blood pressure, hypertension, coronary artery disease, heart attacks, heart failure, heart valve problems, and abnormal heart rhythms. Okay, so this just kind of highlights the disparities in race in terms of mortality. So you can see Black adults are 32% more likely to die from cardiovascular disease. Now think about that. That's a pretty big disparity. Think about, what are some potential reasons? Next slide. This kind of ties into this section on Life's Essential 8. So in 2010, after decades of declines in cardiovascular disease death rates, the American Heart Association expanded its focus from addressing existing cardiovascular disease risk factors to adding strategies that would also directly promote the health of populations and individuals. So it's more about health promotion. What can we do to promote health? The components of Life's Essential 8 include diet, physical activity, tobacco, nicotine exposure, sleep, which is new, they just added sleep, BMI, cholesterol, blood glucose, and blood pressure. On the right, you can see that looks like an 8, social determinants of health. It's defined as the structural determinants and conditions in which people are born, grow, live, work, and age that affect health, functioning, and quality of life. So there are 5 domains, okay? Economic stability, neighborhood, built environment, education, social, and community context, and healthcare. So given this context, it's easy to understand how these social determinants of health may directly affect an individual's ability to manage their cardiac health. Think about the availability of healthy food and the ability to pay for it, safe spaces in which to participate in physical activity. Is there a neighborhood park in your neighborhood? Is it safe for you to go out and go on a walk outside? Or what is the access to healthy foods in the supermarkets? And then also participate in physical activity, health literacy, social support structures and networks, and access to an ability to pay for healthcare. So all of these things directly influence cardiac health. So now you can see maybe how some of these things maybe contribute to health disparities. Next slide. Okay, so first thing we're going to go through diet and nutrition. This is the first. So you can start by first cooking more meals at home. We're going to have a wonderful presentation later today on cooking, but learning to cook meals at home, learning healthy preparation methods, minimize processed foods and sodium, increased whole grains and vegetables. You know, that we're really now kind of recommending follow a Mediterranean diet. So fish, lean meats, nuts, vegetables. Learn how to read and understand nutrition labels and compare nutrition options. Okay, next slide. Okay, so physical activity. I know Sharon previously discussed some of this in terms of how much physical activity to get, but really just look for small chances to be more active. Take a brisk walk every day, start a walking group in your neighborhood, take the stairs instead of the elevator, walk to the mailbox, park further away at the grocery store, use a basket instead of a shopping cart to work out your arm muscles. The simplest way to get moving and improve your health is just start walking. It's free, it's easy, and it can be done anywhere, even in place. As you just saw, you could do, you know, yoga in place. And then again, active chores like gardening, vacuuming, washing the car, raking leaves, that's all considered physical activity. So you can count that in. Next slide. Okay, so this is a big one, blood sugar. So high blood sugar increases plaque buildup and can damage your blood vessels. The first step to managing your blood sugar is to understand what makes your blood sugar levels rise. So carbohydrates and sugars in what you eat and drink turn into sugar in the stomach and in the digestive system. So this sugar can then enter the bloodstream. So insulin then is a hormone made in the pancreas that helps the body's cells take up that sugar from the blood and lower your blood sugar levels. In type 2 diabetes, the body develops insulin resistance, so it can't use the insulin efficiently. So then the pancreas loses its ability to produce insulin, which results in high blood sugar levels. And then here I have a diagram which shows fasting blood glucose levels and what they mean. Okay, next slide. So weight, it's important to reach and to maintain a healthy weight. So reduce calories in. So maybe it's something as simple as keeping track of what and how much you're eating, whether you're eating out of habit, stress, or boredom instead of real hunger. So either apps on your phone you could get or just keep a paper diary, and then increase calories out. So you could do an Apple Watch or any kind of fitness tracker to help gauge how much activity, physical activity you get. That can help with your weight. Next slide. Cholesterol. This is another really important one. So cholesterol is a waxy, fatty-like substance made by the liver or found in certain foods. Your liver makes enough for your body's needs, but we often get more cholesterol from the foods we eat. If we take in more cholesterol than the body can use, then that extra cholesterol can build up in the walls of the arteries, including those of the heart. And this leads to narrowing of the arteries and can decrease blood flow to the heart, brain, kidneys, and other parts of the body. So you can see this picture here, how the plaque is kind of building up in the vessels, and then it's making it more narrow. So again, there are two types of cholesterol, LDL, which is the bad cholesterol because it causes plaque buildup in your arteries, and then HDL, which is the good cholesterol. Higher levels of this can offer some protection against heart disease. And then again, high blood cholesterol usually has no signs or symptoms. The only way to know whether you have high cholesterol is to get your levels checked. So your doctor can do a lipid panel to look at your cholesterol levels. Okay, next slide. Another big one. These are all very important. So blood pressure. High blood pressure is a major risk factor for heart disease. It's a medical condition that happens when the blood pressure of your blood in your arteries and other vessels are too high. So if uncontrolled, this elevated blood pressure can affect your heart and other major organs, including your kidneys and brain. And again, it's called the silent killer. The only way to know if you have high blood pressure is to measure your blood pressure. You can lower your blood pressure with lifestyle changes or with medicine to reduce your risk for heart disease and heart attack. So get your blood pressure checked. You could do it at home. You can get a digital blood pressure monitor at home that you can, routinely check just to be on top of it. And then, check it routinely. And then you can bring that to the doctor and just say, hey, I've checked my blood pressure. This is what I've been ranging for this. Is this good? Is this a appropriate blood pressure? And then here I just have ranges of blood pressure. Next, we're going to go to the next slide. Tobacco. So the first step to quitting smoking is, just acknowledging it. Within 1 year of quitting, your risk of heart disease goes down by half. Smoking is the most preventable cause of death in the US. It's linked to about 1/3 of all deaths from heart disease and 90% of lung cancers. So really make a plan. Set a quit date in the next 7 days, decide your method. Do you want to do cold turkey or gradually? Decide if you need help from a healthcare provider. They can give you, nicotine replacement or medicine, and then prepare. So come up with a plan. How are you going to deal with cravings and urges? Next slide. Sleep. This is a really big one, and it's very overlooked. And this is something that was just added. Okay, so getting good night's sleep every night is vital to cardiovascular health. Adults should aim for an average of 7 to 9 hours each night. Too little or too much sleep is associated with heart disease. Poor sleep may put you at a higher risk for cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline and dementia, depression, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, cholesterol, obesity. And some of the benefits, as you can see here, of sleep are healing and repair of cells, tissues, blood vessels, stronger immune system, your mood is improved, you have more energy, you're more alert, you can make better decisions, you have better memory, reasoning, problem solving. And then here are some strategies to help you get a good night's sleep. So charge your cell phone not near your bed, but move it away from your bed. So keep it in another room, put the charger somewhere else. Dim your screen. So the blue light of most devices can mess with your natural alarm clock of your body, your circadian rhythm. And then next, set it. Alarms aren't just for waking up. You can set a bedtime alarm when it's time to go to sleep. If you are addicted to your phone and you keep scrolling, you can try an app that blocks the apps after a certain time. And then lastly, you can put your phone on Do Not Disturb so that, when it's time for bed, you're just disconnected. And then next slide. So final thoughts. I have this up here, and this is something that I did for myself. You can go to this website, you can bookmark it, www.mlc.heart.org. It's to calculate your heart health score. It's easy to do, and it gives you a snapshot of how well you are doing and tips to improve. So this is great. Yep, thanks. You can put in your, it's personalized. So you put in your individual factors, and then it'll say, okay, these are things you need to improve on, and these are areas of focus, and then these are some things you can celebrate. So this is just really good to just a quick snapshot, and it gives you a score out of 100, and you can get a sense of, how well you're doing from that perspective. Next slide. Okay, so that was a lot of information. Hopefully you all have learned something from this presentation, and I will open things up to questions in the chat box.
Great. Leila, there was, first of all, lots of gratitude for this, but one participant would like us to go back to the A1C slide, Sharon, if you could. And talk about normal ranges, please, of A1C.
Yeah, so this is actually fasting blood sugar level. So this is not A1C. A1C is a measure of your blood sugars over a 3-month period of time. This is fasting blood glucose. So let's say you go to the doctor and you're getting your blood work drawn. This is just more of a quick snapshot of what your blood sugar looks like when you haven't had anything to eat. And so if you are routinely in a higher fasting blood glucose range, then your doctor might order something like an A1C, which again, it's a measure of your blood sugar levels. It's like an average over about 3 months. And targets for that really depend on other risk factors. But I know usually around like the 5 range is ideal. And if you start inching over 5.5, then you start to maybe be a little bit more watchful of that. But your doctor can help you come up with individualized targets that might be appropriate for you.
Great. Layla, what are your thoughts about the use of health coaching for those who are at risk of heart disease or have been diagnosed with heart disease to help with lifestyle changes?
Honestly, I think that's a wonderful idea. I think if you are able to get any kind of social support, that really helps motivate you. It helps keep you accountable. I think it's a wonderful idea. So whether it's through a formal health coach, or if you have a support group, or a group of friends even. But I think it's a wonderful idea because if you can connect with other people that have the same goals and need that accountability, I think that's a wonderful strategy to get that support.
Can you please explain the difference between diabetes and prediabetes?
So I would say pre-diabetes is more when you're kind of in the early, maybe not at 5.5, but just sort of borderline. And so, you can work with your doctor to kind of, work on strategies to whether it's lifestyle changes, reducing or maybe monitoring, carbohydrates, and just watching, what foods you're eating to kind of take a step back and monitor your levels a little bit better. But yes, so pre-diabetes is just before your official, I guess, diabetes diagnosis. But usually that's in like the 5.5 range.
Okay, next question is, my LDL is 132. My rate for having a heart attack is 5.7. Should I volunteer to take medication statin?
That would be a good question for your doctor. I cannot answer that. But as an aside, just at least in terms of talking about medication, I will say that it's important to take your medications regularly. And even if you see like, oh, my numbers look okay, do I still need to be on this? Definitely a conversation that you need to have with your doctor. But a common thing that I hear patients complain of are the side effects of some of these medications. So like statins, you might have more, like joint aches and pains and things like that. And if you're having any side effects, it's better to discuss that with the doctor, because they could even, see another medication that might be better suited for you, that could perhaps, make it more comfortable for you to be on these medications. It's better that you adhere to it than you're not adhering to it because of side effects.
Okay. What are bad carbs if A1C is at 5.7?
I'm so in terms of carbs, I don't really want to categorize as anything as good or bad. And I'm not a nutritionist, so maybe I'm not the best person to discuss like what good carbs are and bad. But I will say it's important that anytime I think a better strategy is maybe to look at glycemic index, and also pairing something that has carbohydrates with a protein, so that you can feel more satiated longer. And so you don't have those dramatic spikes where your blood sugar is high and then it drops. But having a protein will really help keep you more level and keep you feeling more satiated. And then in terms of carbs, really, I think the big focus is just on, whole grains and things with a lower glycemic index.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had actually one question, Layla, regarding one of the myths that you covered earlier, regarding symptoms. And if you could take 1 minute to explain how symptoms between men and women may differ. I believe we have a lot of
Yeah, actually, if you could
people.
go to the next slide, because I felt like this would maybe come up. Um, yes, so symptoms. Oh, okay. Well, here are just overall heart attack warning signs. But as you just said, there can be some differences between men and women and how they have these symptoms and how they present. So as with men, women's most common heart attack symptoms is chest pain or discomfort. But women may also experience other symptoms that are less typically associated with heart attack, such as shortness of breath, nausea and vomiting, and back or jaw pain. So these are just kind of things you should look out for. So pain or discomfort in the chest, lightheadedness, nausea, vomiting, jaw, neck, back pain, discomfort or pain in the arm or shoulders, and then shortness of breath. So these are all, taken very seriously. Definitely, if you have these symptoms, call 911. My background is in stroke. But again, this is all somewhat connected. It all has to do with, blockages in the vessels. So basically a stroke is a heart attack of the brain. So it's similar.
Thank you, Layla.
Yes, thank you so much. That was a lot of really, really great information, and very on time for February being National Heart Health Month. So we're so happy that you could join us. Thank you so much, Layla.
Thank you.
Um, and all of you on this call tonight are taking a great step by being a part of Dine, Learn, and Move, like Layla mentioned. You're getting some great fitness tips, cooking tips, and of course the health information, which is all super great. So step in the right direction. So now we're going to say hello to Chef Roslyn for our live cooking demo. And don't forget that Kate is here to take questions. So please use the chat box to type your question for Chef Roz as a note. All Dine, Learn, and Move recipes are heart healthy and diabetes friendly and will be shared with you after the session. We hope you are able to stay online with us through the end of the demonstration, but if you must log off before 7:30, a link to our evaluation will pop up on your screen. We ask that you just take a few moments to complete it tonight so we can better serve you in future as we plan our upcoming Dine, Learn, and Move sessions. Your feedback is very important to us and impacts our ability to continue bringing you this program virtually. So, okay, Chef, now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
All right, all right. Thank you, Savannah. Welcome everyone to this portion of Dine, Learn, and Move. I'm Chef Roz, and I just want to go ahead and get started. It's time for me to get started. So, first of all, I just want to say that this is one of my favorite recipes. And in light of Heart Health Month, listen, today is the 28th, the end of February, the Healthy Heart Month. And so this recipe is actually centered around heart health using fish. Fish. What kind of fish? Somebody said, what is the dish that she is making? It's fish. It's called spicy curry tuna. It's called curry tuna fish. It's a curry tuna fish. So I centered the theme, this fish around the theme heart health. All right, because we're in the month. And one of my favorite recipes. So first, I always like to say, please, anytime you get in the kitchen, wash up into your elbows, making sure that you have everything clean, your surface clean and everything, especially when we're dealing with fish, for sure. When you go to the store, choose your vegetables in your produce department, come home, wash them really nicely, and then get ready to cook. All right, so curry tuna. What in the world? Curry tuna? I mean, have you ever thought about putting curry in your tuna? So first of all, let me just tell you this. I am not a fish eater. That's just not because I don't like it, but because I'm allergic to it. But there's 3 types of fish that I eat. That's one is tuna. Tuna fish, a tuna. I normally like fresh tuna steaks, right? Now, the other two I don't even want to mention is the scavengers, they're the crab and lobster and shrimp. All right. But the other ones, I'm allergic to it. And I wish I wasn't, because that's where you get a lot of your omegas from. And omegas is great. The fish is great for heart health. All right. So, in order for me to actually eat the tuna, because other than that, I'm a vegetarian. I'm a pescatarian, you should say, because I eat the tuna, shrimp, and crab. So, in order for me to eat the tuna and really like it, I came up with this particular recipe that I want to share with you all. It's nice, it's quick, it's easy, and I'm going to run through it for you, and you will receive the recipes later. So, some of the ingredients that's in the tuna, you would say, hey, I never ever thought about putting that in it. And so, the first is celery. Celery. And so I'm going to give you some healthy shopping tips too for these, because food is expensive now. And they already said eating healthy is expensive, right? And so uh, I'm just going to show you how I did this. All right, now I just bought this container. They have the celery and carrots in a container in the water, instead of buying the whole bag of celery. You buy the whole bag of celery, all you need is one stalk. Then what's the rest? What you going to do with the rest? Well, you might say, well, what am I going to do with the rest of this? I'm probably going to juice that celery. I'm going to juice that celery and those carrots. So I'll have use for that. All right. But for right now, I'm going to cut it up and put it. Let me take my glasses off. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to add celery in my tuna. So that's going to be one ingredient, cutting it up. And so you can dice it, unless you are about to serve the president or somebody very important, and you're just preparing this for yourself. You can actually just cut it up just like you want, however you see fit. You can make it big, you can make it small, however you see fit. And I always say, some of you already know me. I love cutting and dicing because it's my therapy. Yes. And then not only that, when you do your own dicing and cutting, then you know exactly what you're putting in your food. You know how much you ate, how much it was. All right. So that is my celery. Let me bring this here. Go ahead and put it in my bowl. And so it depends on what you like. If you like celery, then you're going to cut it big. If you don't like it, you're either going to leave it out, or you're going to make sure, or you're going to cut it real small, dice it real small. All right. Next, I have the carrots. And this would probably equal to one whole carrot. Like I said, you'll get the recipe in the email. So I'm going to chop my carrots. And I'm not really a really big carrot girl, but it has the beta carotene in it, which is great for the eyes. And it's true. They said, who was that ate the bunny rabbits ate carrots, and somebody else ate carrots, and good for the eyes, right? So it's true. All right, so I'm dicing my carrots, but I'm not really a carrot girl. I like to juice carrots for sure. I love to juice carrots. I'd rather juice than eat them, but I'll put it in something and mix it together. So I like to dice it real small. There we go. There's the carrots. And it's going to make your tuna salad, give it a lot of consistency when you add extra things to it. All right. The next ingredient is onion. Now you can use a red onion, white, sweet, medallion. What other kind of onions? Go ahead and type in the chat for me. What other kind of onions are there? Names of them. Some names of onions. Don't be shy. Type it in the chat. I'm looking for names of onions.
I'll read it for you so you can focus on the chopping. We have red onions, Spanish onions, yellow, scallions, more scallions, Vidalia, Bermudan. Ooh, nice job. That was different.
Yes, that's different. Bermuda onion.
Chef,
Oh
can you
yeah.
tell us what Bermudan onions are like? What do they taste like?
I have never had a Bermuda onion. I was about to say that that was different. And so how
Yeah,
about
Miss
the person
Lisa.
who said that?
Miss Lisa, let us know if you've tried one before, what they're like.
What Lisa is that? Is it several Lisas or one Lisa on
Lisa
there?
P.
Okay, Lisa P. Lisa P. How is that Bermuda onion? Now, do you have to get it from Bermuda? Because I'll
I'll
go
go
to
pick one
Bermuda.
up.
I'll go pick one. What did she say?
Miss Thomas calls Bermuda onions red onions.
Oh, red onions or purple? The purple or red onion? I like it. I like it. I like the purple onion. I love purple onions or the red onions because to me it's a little bit more potent and it feels like it's just doing something to your body when you eat it. So I love it.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, Lisa says they're large, sold in stores, not red.
oh, they're not red. Wow. I'm going to have to look for a Bermuda onion. So definitely I saw Vidalian, sweet onion, and scallions. And another name for scallions are the green onions, right? Or spring onions. Yes. All right. So you have to have your onions in there. Onions are great. Onions and garlic, they're kind of cousins. They're related. Great for inflammation and things like that. All right. So we have carrots, celery, and onion. Okay. Next, I'm going to put some, you have to have some sweet pickle relish. Sweet pickle relish in here. Go ahead and put 2 tablespoons sweet pickle relish. Now, I'll put that in next. I have my tuna. So let's go ahead and talk about this tuna. Now I use white. Now this one is Star Kiss. It doesn't matter. It's in water, not in oil. I use the one in water only. And this is albacore tuna. And so you might say, well, what's the difference between albacore tuna and yellowfin or what they call it, skipjack? So I typically use the albacore because the meat, the consistency it's more meaty. It's a white fish. It's the white part of the fish. And if you notice, I don't know if you all ever have ever noticed that in the stores when they have the albacore tuna, it costs a little bit more than the skipjack and then when you open it, the parts of it is different colors. It's brown, just the I call it the scraps of the tuna fish, like all the border of it around the tail, different. But this albacore is the center meaty part, and it's the white part of the tuna fish. So they make it. It costs more. It costs more, and so that's why. But they're not going to throw away the rest of it, so they put the rest of it in a can and sell it too, and it's a little bit cheaper. Okay, but they all still heart health, omegas, and good for you. I just prefer the albacore in water only. So I'm using 3 cans. This is 3 cans, 3 small cans like this. All right. Now these are on sale, y'all. 2 for $3 at Giant. I just want to tell you. I told you I'm gonna give you some heart health tips because a lot of times people just go all overboard with things that they shouldn't eat just because the things that you should eat is a little bit more expensive. So I'm just giving you a tip. That's how much it costs at Giant right now. All right, so what's not on your recipe, but because I am in the house and this is virtual, I love eggs. I think we talked about this before. I love eggs, and so I'm going to add eggs to my recipe. I add eggs to my tuna all the time. Now, we talked about it before. Now, the American Heart Association says that if you are not experiencing issues with cholesterol, increased high cholesterol, then you can have 1 to 2 eggs a day. American Heart Association said that. Now, if you are experiencing issues with cholesterol, high cholesterol, then 2 to 3 a week. You can't have much. All right. So it just depends. Just depends on you and what's going on with your body. So I'm going to chop up my egg because that's now, like I said, it's not on the recipe that you're going to receive, but use it accordingly. All right. Be careful with it. Listen to your body. Know your numbers. All right. I don't have issues with cholesterol, so I like a good egg. And I use brown eggs, cage-free, hormone-free eggs. All right. So I'm putting that in there. All right. Next, I'm going to show you the fat. Now we're talking about fat. Fat is not good. Certain fats are not good for the arteries, right? So I use, because I'm a vegetarian and I don't use mayonnaise. I don't use Hellmann's regular mayonnaise. So I use a vegan mayonnaise. So there's several ones on the market if you want to go there. So a vegan mayonnaise versus a regular mayonnaise would be the fat that's in it. All right. So I'm using a vegan one. And this is the thing. Back in the day, so I've been I'm not a vegan, I'm a vegetarian. I'm a pescatarian. So probably about at least 20 years ago, there was a company called Veganase, and they made it plant-based, a plant-based mayonnaise, which means that it has an oil. It may have canola oil or olive oil or avocado oil, some other type of oil, good fat oil, right? But now Hellmann's they jumped aboard. Hellmann's, yeah, why not? They said, listen, I want a piece of that. So definitely I'm using a vegan mayonnaise. Now, like I said, you can get Hellmann's if you like, but you need to use maybe light mayo if you're having issues or you're trying to really be heart healthy. You can use a light mayo if you don't want to go all the way to the vegan one. All right. Next, I am going to use some rice vinegar. Rice vinegar, rice vinegar is 1/4 of a cup. So I'm just going to put 1, 2. I just put 2 in here just because I'm using a little bit of tuna. All right, I got my rice vinegar. Now let's add the seasonings to it. I have some lemon pepper, 1 teaspoon of lemon, and make sure it's a teaspoon. Please don't put a whole tablespoon in there. All you need is a teaspoon of lemon pepper. It's going to give it a nice little flavor and a little bit of a peppery, black pepper in there. So lemon pepper. Then I'm going to use garlic. Garlic. Remember I said garlic and onions, they're related. They're like cousins. So garlic is heart healthy. It's great. It's cardiovascular. Great for the heart, right? It keeps the vampires away. That's what they say. Keeps the vampires away. I'm putting the garlic, and I'm using garlic powder. Now you can go ahead and chop up fresh garlic if you like. You can do that if you like. It's always good if you have time. Or you can use the minced garlic, but use the garlic powder and not the what? What would you not use? Instead of garlic powder, there's something else. Go ahead and type it in the chat. I want to see if you know. And I'm going to just go ahead and dump that because I love garlic.
Oh, yeah. We've got a
What is
smart group. They're saying no salt, no garlic salt.
That's it.
Bingo.
No garlic salt. Awesome. Awesome. Yes, no garlic salt. So you can use garlic powder. They even have like garlic and herbs. They have certain ones on the market that has no salt at all. You can use that one. But it's better to add your own salt if you need any. Okay, but for the most part, I have not put any salt in here, if you notice, at all.
There's one question, Chef,
Sure.
about substituting onion powder.
Oh yeah, you can use
How would
onion
that work in
powder.
this recipe?
You can use onion powder for sure. I would use about at least a teaspoon of onion powder, at least a teaspoon. But yeah, you can use onion powder. Just spruce it up a little bit. Yes. So I'm giving you the foundation of it, but I already know my cooks out there, they're going to add a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and a little bit of this, just like I do. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you can add onion powder. All right, next, I got the, do I have the, I put the relish in here, right? Okay, so next, here's the star of the show. Well, the tuna is the star of the show, but what kind of tuna did I say it was going to be called? Curry tuna, curry tuna, curry. All right, so I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of curry in here. And so you can start off with 1 tablespoon. Please start off with 1 because curry can be very pungent, very strong. So you want to start off with at least 1, but if you really like curry, you might add the rest of it. I'm just saying, you might add the rest. Now I want you to mix it all together. Good mix. Mix it all. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. It smells so good. I know I say that every time. I say that all the time. I'm going to add the rest of my curry in here because I need that yellow. Okay, so speaking of curry and yellow, what do you all think makes curry yellow? What ingredient is in curry to make it the yellow color? And I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of this in here because I love curry. And this is for me and the husband. We're going to eat this. We have some answers.
Yeah, turmeric.
Well, everybody gets an A. You get an A, you get an A, everybody gets an A. Yes, turmeric makes it yellow in the curry. So I have another question. What is turmeric good for? What is turmeric good for as far as health benefits? What is it good for? Let me see. Let me see if I can pass out more
Okay,
A's.
Miss Knott said inflammation. Actually, now a bunch of folks are saying inflammation. I see in everything. I see a digestion, antioxidant.
That's right. You all a smart group. Smart group. Yes, inflammation for sure. Also, turmeric is good for Alzheimer's too. And so I see someone says arthritis. So itis, all those are like inflammation that, yeah. So you can't go wrong by adding turmeric if you're experiencing issues with all of those itises. All of them, arthritis, bursitis, all of those itises for sure. What else you got, Kate? Is there somebody else?
There's another question. Does curry powder need to be cooked?
Does what kind?
Curry powder need to be cooked?
Oh, no, not at all. You don't have to cook curry powder. Now, most people use it in recipes like curry chicken and curry. That's probably because I know before when I was a meat eater and I ate curry chicken, I didn't know curry to be separated from anything else. That's why this here, because this is not cooked, it's so strange. Like nobody ever even thought about adding curry. But if you like the curry flavor, why not? Why not put it in there? I guarantee you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Yeah, but yeah, you don't have to cook curry. So that's interesting, right?
We have a turmeric question.
Sure.
How much is generally added to a recipe?
So you need to start off slow with you said with turmeric, right? Turmeric you saw because turmeric, plain turmeric. I mean, it just it's a root. So it could, if you can imagine, I don't know how many people ever tasted dirt, but but just imagine dirt, and so it's a root, and so it doesn't really taste very good. Now they do add turmeric in a lot of like mixtures, uh, supplements, and blends when you're cooking. So in your spices and things like that. So, but they add it to things. So it can take over. So my point is, you start off small and then you add what you think you need. So, but for a frame of reference, if you were like drinking a let's just say a tea, and you wanted to add turmeric to it, I would start off with maybe a half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. Turmeric powder. Now, I see somebody said they're making a kale soup. If you're making a kale soup and it's a lot, I would put at least a teaspoon up to a tablespoon of turmeric. Just depends on your liking. Everybody's tongue is different. They like it, different. I personally like it. I mean, I'm a herbalist, so I like most of all the spices and everything. But it depends on your liking. So you can add to it, but I say start off small and then build up for your turmeric. And that's
Do you
basically,
have
for
any,
almost everything. Go ahead.
this is my question. Do you have any handling questions or tips for turmeric? I've stained some
Absolutely.
things in my kitchen and some nicely done fingernails. But you learned the hard
Yellow.
way. What's your
It
tip?
turns it yellow. It turns it yellow, 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 yellow for sure. And so the only thing that I know for a fact that turmeric does not stain is your teeth. It doesn't
Good
stain the
news.
teeth. Yeah, so you can and I know that because I do oil pulling and I mix the turmeric with coconut oil and just let it sit in my mouth, and it doesn't stain your teeth. But it will stain your fingertips. It will stain the countertop in your kitchen. It will. So I use gloves. If I really want to save my freshly manicure, I'll use gloves when I'm dealing with turmeric. And I'm just careful. I'm just careful with it. I have had white shirts on, and all of a sudden the sleeves of my shirts are yellow, and you can't get rid of it. You cannot get rid of it. It just stains. So I would say wear gloves if you know that you're dealing with turmeric, even if it's the powder. Be very careful. Wear gloves, and just make sure you're doing it around. You know what I normally do if I'm dealing with, so if I'm filling up a container like this with, because I have large containers of turmeric. And so sometimes I have to fill these up when I'm doing these cooking demos. So I'll hold it over the sink because the stainless steel sinks, it can just wash away. It won't stain your sink. So I'll hold it, just be very careful. Hold it over the sink, then I fill it and then put the top on it, and then I'm done. But most of the time, like I said, I wear gloves because I learned, yeah, like you said, I learned the hard way. Somebody has a hand up.
Layla mentioned that you could dye Easter eggs with it, which also
Absolutely.
remind me there was an earlier question, if you don't mind me pivoting to eggs.
Sure.
Can you talk
Yeah.
to us more about hormone-free eggs if we've never heard of those before?
Oh, okay. Hormone-free.
Hormone-free eggs.
So what's happening? The egg comes from the chicken, right? And the chickens, so they have a set of chickens that they house in a chicken house in cages, and they shoot them with hormones so that they can be bigger. So your chicken legs and chicken breasts, and they'll be fatter and meatier, and so a lot of people like that. And then there are chickens that are cage free. They're not in the cage, and they're grass fed, and they're fed special diets. They're not shut. They're not shut. They don't have hormones shot up with hormones in them. So that's what cage-free eggs are. And somebody would be calling me right now. And so that's what cage-free, no hormone eggs come from. Did I answer that question? This won't stop.
I just want to add.
Thank you.
Hello?
Thank you. Go ahead, Sharma.
Oh, yes, I just wanted to go back. Thank you, Chef Ross. Great explanation. With the turmeric, if you put some oil in your hands before you touch it, that will prevent the stains. So you can use some oil in your, that's why it won't stain your teeth. If you're using it with oil, it wouldn't stain. It doesn't stain anything. So if you're touching it Like, even the same thing with curry. When I make curry, in the bowl, sometimes I would put some oil in it, and then you put the curry in there, or so it wouldn't stain if the powder itself. So that's one thing. And yes, you're correct with the eggs. These chickens are fed grass fed, and they're fed omega-3s in their food. So when they found out that when they lay their eggs, the eggs are higher in the omega-3s than the regular eggs. So, and they're higher in their B complex vitamins. They're higher in a lot more of their they have higher B12 in those hormones fed. I think Egglanders or one of those company, they will sell those cage free. So their eggs has a lot more nutrients. And of course, it's much more expensive than the regular egg. So you have to weigh the price and say, do I want to get this or this? So, so that's the difference with the cage free. Yes, it's high in the omega-3s because it's what the chickens are fed. They are fed grass fed, and and they're getting a lot more of the omega-3s. Yes. So thank you. Just wanted to thank you. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sharma. Is there any more questions, Kate?
Well, there's one about tofu if you have time. Miss Carey would like to know, what is tofu and how is it used?
So tofu is I want to explain it like it's soy. Tofu is soy. And so if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, if you kind of know about cottage cheese is spoiled milk that curds. So tofu is similar to that, but it's soy that's curded, and it's from the soy plant, soy plant. So I hope you understand.
Like a plant-based protein source?
Yeah, plant-based protein source, plant-based.
Yes, it is. You're correct. It's usually made from soy milk, and then they make it into a curd and they press it together, and then sometimes they make it into blocks, and you can get it in different. You can get a soft tofu, or you can get it hard or firm tofu. You can get it however you like. So it could be like almost like cottage cheese, or it could be like regular cheese that you can slice. But you're correct. It is a curd from and it's plant-based.
Yep, plant-based. And I like to get organic soy tofu, organic tofu. All right, so I just want to move to my next, you're welcome. So I want to move to my next part. So this basically is done. The curry tuna is done, smells amazing. You can eat it just like this. If you're watching your calories, you can actually make both. And how do you do that? You take the lettuce, like some romaine lettuce or butter lettuce, any type of lettuce, and then you can just put this in the middle and make you little lettuce wraps with your curry tuna. If you're watching your calories from your bread and watching carbs, okay? Or you can actually make it a macaroni and tuna or tuna pasta salad, pasta tuna salad. So most of the time I say macaroni is an elbow macaroni, right? And so an elbow macaroni, what I prefer is a brown rice instead of the regular white pasta. I'll use a brown rice pasta or a bean pasta. So in this case, this particular brand, this is a chickpeas. This is chickpeas, and this is basically it's made out of chickpeas instead of the white pasta. So you just boil your water, and I like to, when I boil my water, normally you use 2 cups of water and 1 cup of the pasta. All right. I normally season my water so that the pasta can be a little bit flavorful. So I'll put garlic in my water and herbs in there, some thyme and oregano, basil, different herbs in the water and let it cook. As the pasta is cooking, then I actually then the herbs and spices actually go into the pasta so that it'll be a little bit flavorful and not so bland. So, but this one I'm using actually a brown rice pasta. Now, brown rice, you can use quinoa pastas. It's basically what it is a whole grain, a whole grain pasta. So I like to add this to my tuna. So I'm just going to add, now I already cooked this. You know, I had to cook it before we started. So I'm going to add it over in here. And so this is going to be my macaroni and tuna salad. And I'm just going to mix it. This is a brown rice pasta. I got this from Wegmans. They have brown rice pastas in all the stores. Quinoa pasta, brown rice pasta, chickpea pasta.
We have a question about tricolored pasta.
Well, tricolor pasta normally is the same type of pasta that's the white pasta, but it's got color. So that means most of the time it's dye. It's dyed. Food coloring is what I'm trying to say. So it'll be pretty though. Very colorful. And so that is my macaroni and tuna salad. Macaroni and tuna salad. Now, what I prefer, and so how I'm going to spur stuff. So now you can use this as a little snack, like I said, your boats, but this is dinner. It can be a serving. This is dinner. You put it on a bed of lettuce, and this is actually spring mix. It's got the spinach in here and the different lettuces in here, lettuce leaves. So then I like beets. These little red things are beets. I don't know if you all like beets, but I put beets on my salad. This is my favorite salad. One of my favorite salads. And I'll do the macaroni or not. Just depends. So I put the rest of my beets on there. Then I'm putting my macaroni right here in the middle. Macaroni and tuna. Macaroni and tuna salad. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know if y'all can see that. Can you see that, Kate? Let me come around so I can make sure you see it.
Yeah, you're eating in color tonight. It looks beautiful.
Beautiful color, right?
You're not alone with liking beets.
Beets are good for you. Great.
Some of
for
us in the
iron.
room also. Yeah,
How does it look? You all give me thumbs up. Let me know how it looks to you.
beautiful. Yeah.
And then so I have to taste it for you.
Lots of thumbs up coming in.
Yeah, I'm coming over.
You on your way?
Yes.
Awesome.
Lots of
awesome.
good texture in there.
Lots of good texture, healthy, very, very good. I love my beets. Very good. I'm just saying. So this will be dinner. This is a dinner. Nice serving size dinner. All right. Now you can make it a small one and let it be for lunch. Or eat this for lunch. I don't know.
I think at the end, Savannah is going to tell us what to do when they get the recipe and how we can participate and see who's making these dishes.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
somebody said you can eat it with crackers. Yep, you can eat it with crackers.
Do you have any healthy cracker suggestions?
Well, I use almond flour crackers. So there's a brand called Simply that's on the market. But your whole grain crackers, not the saltine crackers, but whole grain crackers that has maybe like a whole wheat or cracked wheat or grains, or crackers that are made out of anything else except for white flour. That's what I use.
And I just want to remind everyone that it is, great meal that is really heart friendly. It is sodium friendly. It is diabetic friendly. So whatever your ailment is, and it's weight control. So you have everything in a complete meal. When we talk about the plate method, it's right there. Thank
Right
you,
here.
Chef Roz.
Yes, thank you so much. Any more questions? Any more questions, Kate?
No, we're at time. That's perfect.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate everyone for joining us. And that said, I'm about to enjoy my dinner. Take
Thank
care.
you so much, Roz. Thank you, thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you.
The wheel you're about to see is filled with the names of those who completed the evaluation in January and left their name at the end. Next month, you will only see your name on the wheel if you complete tonight's survey and leave your name. So right now, we will celebrate a January participant who completed the evaluation. Sharon, could you give the wheel a spin, please? All right, let's see who it's gonna be. Looks like our winner is Valencia Mabry Wallace. Congratulations if you are on this call tonight. You are our February winner for the January evaluation. And our lucky winner will receive, courtesy of Prince George's County Health Department, a NutriBullet that you can use to make healthy recipes demonstrated during Dine, Learn, and Move. So congratulations, that will be sent to you and more details to come. And in the next few days, each of you will receive an email with a link to a recording of tonight's program, another copy of tonight's recipes, as well as the other resources we saw and shared throughout the night. Our hope is that you will use these resources to help support your wellness throughout the month until we meet again. If you try these recipes at home, I'd like Kate just mentioned, please share a photo with our team by responding to the follow-up email, and you will receive that within the next few days. So thank you all for joining us. Have a great night, and we will see you in March for Decoding the Nutrition Label.